Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is Jonas. Reports for the 29th and our final day of trading for 2023 as we get ready for the new year, and it should be quite a doozy going into 2024 election, everything else. There's just a lot of things taking place and a lot of unknowns with the economy. And this is where the feel out, we talked about this. The pain trade was to the upside simply because so many people were positioned short back here at the end of October, and that it just gave great opportunity for this run. And then the Fed jumping into the election saying, we're going to do an about face and soften, even though inflation and all of those things haven't really changed at all. The rate of increase of inflation has changed. And it's always interesting to me when they start talking about it. It doesn't affect prices. It just means they're not going up as fast as they were. They're still going up, and they're still well outside the Fed's target range. So take that with a little bit of, grain of salt, so to speak, simply since they're like saying, well, yeah, we're going to cut into continued rising prices, which makes some new sense in the world of economics that never existed in the prior, centuries. But okay. If these readings maintain themselves during the day, we'll see it on the 50K, even as low as the 5K first, if there was going to be some significant change. But this I had under red, and that's still within the always buy category. And positive extreme, sure. So we know where the retraces will start, coming all the way back down to the original move back up here. And not a surprise. The Nasdaq's a little healthier, not quite as strong a move so far from a MBI white at this particular stage, and hasn't dipped below the negative 13.5. So Nasdaq clearly has a little bit more power left in it, even if it has been softer in general. It's still, again, this slow push towards new highs, with that expectation that the Fed is going to do exactly what the bond market is saying it's going to do, which is cut rates at a ridiculous rate to really excite everybody as we head towards the election. And as long as that is fulfilled, everything's good. Should something change within that, yeah, look out. Um, Oil dipping back down in the low 70s. So again, this is positive for the economy overall. Still elevated level, which means inflation is still going to be running hotter than normal. Just the rate of that increase, again, is that's all you're going to hear from a headline, but it's not going to change the fact that prices are still going up, plain and simple. But it takes a lot of the pressure off the rate of increase, and certainly makes it where it can be assimilated. And this is what we talk about over time, that assimilation capability of moderating it to where people can absorb the change in price, makes it a little bit easier, so things can chug along. And again, the bottom half of the economy is going to suffer the worst from all of this anyway. Mid upper range certainly not, and particularly with equities continuing to rise. Free reign. You would think, though, that under these circumstances, gold would just be at a nonstop acceleration, and it's not. Interesting reality. Still cyan under red, and a little dip here of steel going below negative 13 could be a little bit more of a push towards that 50%. Given the white MBI lead, that's very possible. Not that far to go, but it's an interesting one to see that dichotomy, because you're not seeing it when it comes to the crypto space. It has been accelerated. Bitcoin just a little bit back and forth, consolidating some of the move and just moving across, waiting for the big announcement of Bitcoin ETF, and the belief that that is somehow going to create this massive demand and change everything. Even though having it on a futures obviously had a similar impact, but somehow an ETF is going to change all of that. That they can't get the same exposure having a futures contracted. Go figure that one. But hype, we all know that it's the rumor and the excitement far outweighs the realities of things. ETH performing better. MBI White starting to take the lead here on it, though, so it could have a little bit more softness within it, but it broke out. Hit the new highs, couldn't sustain that at this particular stage. But, a lot of excitement with the potential for some of the elements within that ETH blockchain having some success, and it's an interesting one because the success is usually related to those things that are more government controlled than not, and so having the approval of governments is the only way crypto is really going to survive. Everyone thinks it's going to be this independent thing. Just can't. This is the whole point of moving towards digital IDs, and that it's all about clear idea of exactly who does what and the control of it, and that really kind of throws a monkey wrench into the whole concept of decentralized. But that's a whole different debate. From a 50K standpoint, just a sideways action going nowhere. Not out of range of what we expected. We had the brief spike here in BI White. A little bit of a breakdown, caused a few dips, but not what you would expect. So it was extremely strong, and any push up of the shorts within that creates an interesting opportunity for a breakout move toward the upside on that if they're unable to continue to drive it, because it will fuel algos to say, hey, we've got enough position in the wrong direction that we can squeeze them. When we look at it from a 5K standpoint, you get a tiny range from a 5K tick chart. And this is where so much more helpful than time, because time doesn't buy anything. And so candles made from time really don't mean a whole lot. You have to look at them in an aggregate and volumes and everything else, where a tick chart sort of solves that for us, because this is the actual trade, and you can see what a chaotic mess it was, just mostly back and forth with spikes, dips, and this is what you expect from kind of that holiday trade. Sometimes you can get a momentum move, but they still fill back into place, and this one even did the same and came back and filled in the positive extremes from the move that took place. So this was all clean. Positive extremes started on this candle right here. You see how perfect that is? Those algos know exactly what they're doing. And right now here in the pre-market, it's already pushed a new high, coming back into it, so they'll probably want to retest both the low and high. And if we don't get back down to that zero level, then that would be an excitement to push up during the regular session. So all in all, been a pretty phenomenal year. A lot of unique economic conditions taking place that certainly have created a lot of confusion for people, because it's just not a seen element. But so far, we've been spot on with where we've been looking and how to read all of this. So we're going to continue to do the same. As always, though, trade well. Everyone have a great New Year's celebration and be safe.